Okay, let's move a little farther out in the solar system. We've been talking about the Juno mission a lot lately. This arrived at Jupiter in July of last year, and it's been orbiting Jupiter pole to pole ever since. And the original mission design, let's see, so here's Jupiter. And when it arrived, it fired its rocket thrusters to be captured into orbit. It was supposed to do 2 of these very large orbits that take about 53.5 days to complete 1 orbit. And then last October, they were planning to do an orbit trim maneuver, firing the onboard rocket again and shrink the orbit to a 14-day orbital period. And that would allow them every 14 days, they'd pass within about 4,000 kilometers of the cloud tops of Jupiter. And over the course of a 2-year mission, so ending in July of next year, they would collect all of the information that they expect to do. And most of the science is actually done when it's close to the planet. But last October, just a few days before they were preparing for this firing of the onboard propulsion system, one of the valves that pressurizes the propulsion system behaved strangely. They did a test on it, and instead of opening and closing very quickly the way it should, it actually was sticky, and it took something like 20 seconds to cycle instead of something less than a second. And then in investigating that, they determined that the same valves were used on a couple of Earth orbiting satellites, and the propulsion system on those had failed. And so that got people very concerned. The last thing you'd want to happen is you fire this or do this maneuver and the engine doesn't shut off, and you end up in the atmosphere of Jupiter. So what they've decided just about a week ago is they're going to continue in the 53.5-day orbit. By next July of next year, they will have done something like 14 passes instead of about 35 passes. And so that will give them a good fraction of the science that they expect, but they will have the capability to put in a proposal to NASA to extend the mission and keep collecting data until they do the full 35 orbits. So we'll see what happens, but at least the spacecraft is safe, and every time they get close to the planet, they return more data. And this is a view of the south polar region of Jupiter, so it gives you an idea of how complex that atmosphere is and the quality of information that's coming back from Juno. So stay tuned on that. We'll roughly every 2 months, I'll probably be updating you with the whatever the latest is as it does another pass. So I think the last close pass was on February 2nd, and so we'll be near the end of April before the next one happens.